Howdy, 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 ho. Sorry, I need to take two, you know, clapper. I have one, but it would be kind of silly me sitting here by myself. Take two. It's casual. We're casual. These are casual. It's casual trainings. Anybody here? Am I alone? I'm not going to sing. It always makes me want to sing. What is that? It's not good. Here we go. Now we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So, daylight savings, although we apparently just voted to start the process to nix daylight savings. Hello, Roger. Did you see that? In California, anyway. I don't know where y'all are. Where are y'all? Let me know where you are. Hi, Shree. Where are you? So, hi, Doug. Share, please. Hi, Peggy. Yay, here we go. Yay, it's here. So in California, we all voted, but in California, because we're in our own little bubble, as many would say, it passed that we're going to start going, we don't want to do our clock thing. There you go. So it's getting dark, and hence the horror film lighting. I tried to fix it. I'm not a lighting director. They went home early. Makeup. Oh, they went with him. Or anyway. So today, okay. So we're going to kind of explain a little bit because I know I can see people are watching. I can only see who if you make a comment. Just FYI. So where are y'all from? Where are we coming from? I know where some of you are coming from. Roger, where are you? I don't know where you are. So so that's why, I see I shouldn't just, it's very distracting because when you do Facebook Lives, you can see yourself, and it's such a lesson in being humble. Oh, might help if hi, Guy, I haven't seen you for a while. You're excited for us to ditch the time change. I know, I need one of those big powder puff things. No, we have daylight savings now. It was on our ballot to, I was in the house. Hi, Cindy. It was on our ballot it's not going to change it right away. It's like the first step. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I read all about it. But I actually like daylight savings times. I like the switch. I don't know, there's something, I don't know. It's just kind of, maybe I'm old school, but yeah, but it did pass. So we'll see. I don't know. I think it changes on one side for a while. I don't know how it works because I was like, no. But I voted. You should all vote. Okay, so anywho, so because it's getting darker, because I have a big window, can't see, but see this thing right here? Okay, so this house has been added onto, so that's another, that was an add-on. Super long story with the house, I won't go into it too much, but basically they had 10 children, so they kept adding it on, people before us, who are our friends. And so there's one of these on that side, but it actually looks outside, sort of. So normally I have this nice daylight, but it's dark because it's daylight savings stuff. So anyway, I'm going to shut up and move on. So that's DC. Nice. I need to go there. I haven't been there. I've only been there once a really long time ago. So I'll let you know when I'm in the house. All right. So for those of you that, I'm just going to stop rambling since we have new members that are coming in that aren't used to my rambling ways. So for all you newbies out there that are coming in, we are having like hundreds of people a day are joining. We just surpassed the 5,000 mark. That's a lot. So super exciting. So I want to make sure that kind of people know how this works. Yay, you voted. I am purple again. You're right. I went back to purple. Back to purple. So that kind of goes with the whole horror film thing. I got going on. It's no more light hair. It's dark. Actually, it was better. It's better. It was kind of, because the lights are high, and it was really like, wah, wah, wah. Okay, anyway. That's how it sounds. That's how horror films lighting sounds. Oh, it should be like, wah! Okay. Settle. All right, so how this works is we have many, many ways to, crazy number, shoot. So, we have a lot of people joining, and we do a lot of different trainings, and it's really hot in here too. We do a lot of different trainings, and we do these weekly, pretty much all the time. We let you know if we're not going to be here for some reason, like probably the week of Thanksgiving, we'll take that week off. Every once in a while we have lives. We take we take things off. So, but in general, we're pretty much here every week, rain or shine. Oh, good, yay! I like it too. So, and we do these free trainings every week, and most of the time we talk about, there's 3 elements that we talk about. And we talk about this in the free training. Hi, Juliana. If you haven't taken the free training, well, if you're not a screen reader and you haven't taken the free training, you should do that. Doug, that's your cue. So we have a free training where we have videos that kind of answer the most common questions. And we talk in the free training about these 3 elements that we focus on. One is writers, the script, the story, analyzing screenplays. That is primarily what we do in these free trainings. We also talk about just the producers and how to navigate in Hollywood and like just kind of the process of it all more than the actual tactics of a screenplay. So we talk, like we've done horror films and story distractions and formatting and all that. And then we also talk about the day in the life of a reader and like all the, kind of things that go with that. And then like today we talk about the fact that if you are an artist, you're basically an entrepreneur. And they're weekly. They're right? We talk about writing, right now. I was going to write a book like that. I parked because I used to sing that to my son when he was little. I'd make up little songs about we park the bike at the park. Anyway, I have a whole slew of them. Anywho, and then the third thing is that it is show business. And if you are an artist, you are an entrepreneur. And we feel pretty strongly about that. And so, go Doug. And so we want to make sure that you have a mindset that will help you no matter what you're doing. If you're an actor, a writer, director, producer, all of this, even if you're working full-time for a studio, even if, by the nature of this business, there's just stuff coming at you from all areas. And so we want to make sure we want to make sure that you understand that and that we give you as many tools as we possibly can so that you'll be successful. So that's why today we're focusing on transforming your life. Simple little topic, right? How hard could it be? So it's kind of, if you didn't watch last week, it's kind of, and actually the week before that when we did Things Go Awry. So it kind of builds, these kind of build on each other. But basically last week we talked about balance, and we talked about, we did a whole exercise where you kind of figure out areas in your life that perhaps you're letting go, and that's making you for a very rocky ride. If you were there, this would make sense. Correct myself up. You should see when I do these trainings, right? Hi, Rachel. Nice to see you. So I do these trainings, and sometimes, I do them and Doug edits them, and so we have a very mighty team. And anyway, I have my own little bloopers, cracking myself up all by myself. I don't even know why I felt the need to tell you that. So moving on. So that's what we do is we kind of helped you identify. So if you weren't here last week, it's up, the replay's up, and the link for the handout that goes with it is in the replay. So I would scroll down, look for me here, doing the same thing. And you can, download that, figure it out, and figure out where your kind of wonkiness is, because we all have it. So now this week, what we thought we'd do is kind of focus on mindset, because it's a really big deal. And we will put a handout, not yet, we'll put a handout at the end. I'm doing the handout at the end. Sometimes if I feel like there's, like last time we had a whole thing where we were doing it together. This week, I want to make sure that you're focused and listening. And so I don't want you just sitting reading the handout because you won't get it. So we'll post it at the end. So, they've done a lot of polls about this, but basically a Gallup poll a couple of years ago said that only 13% of people actually like the job that they do. 13%. That's just not okay. So, hi, Bonnie. Good to see you. Yay. So we all bloop. We do. We bloop. You said it. It's her fault. Oh, that's going to be perfect. I'll refer back to that later here. So they've done so I did a lot of research, this is really interesting actually, because I have very clear ideas of mindset shifts and things that I've worked on, and I'm in a lot of courses, and I say this all the time, and I take on these courses, every single one of them has been a little, now that I'm kind of on this path and kind of get it, whether it's an Instagram account, a Instagram course, or a Facebook course, or a social media course, or how to build an online business course, or how to market, or how to, they all start with mindset. Every single one of them has a whole module before you even get started with the tactics of how to do anything is on mindset, which is really kind of interesting to me that across the board, it's that's how important it is though. So that's why we want to make sure that we include that in our trainings. So so I've kind of like gathered research from all these courses that I'm taking from. I have a very, very pretty solid practice that I do to try to help because we all struggle. And then I have, you kind of watch people in your lives, and as we go through this, people will pop in your brain. You won't be able to stop it, so just let it go. You'll be able to, like, someone will pop in your brain, oh, this sounds like so-and-so, like you're gonna hear it. And actually, my best friend is like, she's been my best friend since we were 16, and she's someone whose mindset right from the get-go, I was like, oh yeah, we need to be friends because you are amazing. And she really, like, has always been my sort of go-to of someone that has just an impeccable mindset. Like, and then now we kind of balance each other in a little different way. So it's been really interesting, as you grow and you figure out from each other. But together, it's like we've really helped each other kind of figure stuff out. So, but you'll start to recognize people in some of these mindset stuff that we're going to go through. But so I kind of did some research on what do people have in common that like their job? Like, what are the things that people have in common that when they say they like their job and they say why? So what are those things? And I thought it was really fascinating because they all kind of pointed to what we do here. It was really kind of cool. And one of it was a support system. And as the screen readers can attest, and we're getting this in Gatekeepers, it's starting to grow, we're having some of the same people come back, which I think is important, is the tribe, is the people that you surround yourself, your support system, and coworkers was another one, having coworkers that you like. I mean, having that support system is huge, and that is, it does make a difference. If you go into your work, even if you don't like the job you're doing, but you kind of get along with the people, that just, it can really help you get through the day. So it's a really important thing, and we take that very seriously around here, and we're really trying very hard, and we have a lot of smart people that kind of like jump in there, and it's awesome. Everybody's helping each other. It's pretty amazing. So, and then one of the other things is that people feel recognized, and they feel like you know who they are, and that's why, and I like to see the same people. I am seeing the same people, and I love it when I see the same people, and we're really trying to kind of get connected. We really do make a very solid effort to try to answer people's questions and answer every email and it's getting, as you can see, there's thousands of people now, and we have thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the email list that are emailing us, and then Instagram, and there's a lot of different places where we're trying to stay connected with everybody. And as we grow, we'll continue to do that. We'll just expand our team, but we'll make sure that any team members we bring on, this is a top priority because this is our community and it's super important. And so, and we get it back. It is a newly found tribe, and it is like pretty amazing. We do movie nights within Screen Readers. So we have a few different ways of teaching. Hollywood Gatekeepers is always free. We have these free trainings every week. We have the free training that I just spoke about that I posted the link to. We have the master class, which is now opening and happening soon. And then we have a paid course that has Screen Readers in it. So we have a bunch of different ways. However you do it, it's totally up to you. You're a grown adult. Figure out what works for you. We want to be here for you in whichever way you choose. But we are just really discovering, like, it's really cool. Very cool. So, and then two of the other things that I think are really interesting is that people are more likely to like their job when they're making an impact. And I can't agree more. I think that's one of the reasons I fell in love with reading and coaching and consulting, is because even if someone's the screenplay we're working on didn't get made, that person, I watched these transformations over and over again, and now we're seeing it. Like, it's been so cool watching people go, oh, I just love that. It's one of my favorite things, like, oh, wait, or even when we go back and forth and I say something and someone comes back. We did that with horror. It was great because we had some horror fans, we had some Marvel fans when we were talking about horror films that were coming and saying, no, it's like this for a Marvel fan or whatever, because I'm not a particular genre fan. Like, I don't have one genre that I really love. Romantic comedy is probably my favorite, just because I love slapstick. So I love slapstick comedy, and I bet that's really hard to imagine. So, but I'm not like a Marvel fan or like a horror fan. That's a whole different animal. So it was really interesting to hear from people that are that, they could, say, I beg to differ or whatever. I just love it. It's making an impact. You're making an impact on us, and hopefully vice versa. So it's just been really, really, really fun. And then the other thing is that they're proud of what they do. I mean, there's nothing worse than when you work at a job. And I always hate commercials or whatever that make fun of certain industries or look down on certain industries, because there's no shame in anything. Everything needs to get done. We've got a ton of stuff that needs to get done. And so you can take pride in any job that you have. And so it never really makes sense to me to have this hierarchy of one job being better than another or anything like that. It's all about, taking pride in what you do no matter what that is. And if you're working somewhere, one of the things, and we have a whole thing talking about embracing your 9 to 5. And I mean, if you are working somewhere where you're feeling like not very satisfied, to kind of think of the origin story of wherever you're working sometimes can really help, where everything that has been started, I mean, look around you. It's kind of amazing when you look around at all the things. I mean, you should see this room. You should look around at all the things that, I mean, you can kind of tell from the background, that people created, right? Like there's a kaleidoscope back there, like all these things that people created. It's amazing, all the things. And so when someone created wherever it is that you work, there was an origin story. They did that for a reason. They were inspired somehow. So hi, Clint, good to see you. So it's a really cool thing, right? When you start to understand why someone may have started the company that you work at, it kind of gives you a little bit of a, oh, wait, there might be actually something more to this than I originally thought. And starting to learn more about where you're at can make your life easier and make you like your job better. So as you're moving, so we're assuming that people are here because they want to start learning the reading process and maybe moving into that, maybe doing it part-time, whatever. But we don't recommend that you go, there's all these like websites, there's just so much noise out there about screw the 9 to 5 and I'm blah, 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 blah. And it's like, whatever. If you want to leave your job, that's fine. I highly, highly recommend that you do it in a way where you're providing some security for yourself so that you're not, there's no pressure. Once you leave that 9 to 5 and then I'm going to start my own thing. Yeah, it's not that easy. But it's totally doable. We're doing it. It's totally doable. So it's like we're trying to give you those tools so that you can start your own consulting business, or you can get your screenplay off the ground, or you can start reading for whoever you want to read with. However, if you're in a job that's providing security, hallelujah, embrace that job. Let it be. We all have the same amount of time. You can use your downtime and however you want to maybe write your screenplay. Saying. So that's what is that? It's not really a soapbox. It's just pep talk? No, it's just kind of it. So I wanted to kind of go through these. So then, and I've always had this kind of, when I first discovered this, I hope there's people here that, hey, if you're just, so Clint, where are you from? So if you're just Bonnie, where are you from? I don't know where you're from. So like, Rachel, where are you from? Kind of going back through. Yeah, Gila, where are you from? I don't know where you're from. That's not coming to me. So yeah, tell me. Tell me. I'm from San Diego. Okay, so anyway. So it was interesting because when I first started discovering this, and I hope someone out there has this discovery too, when you start listening to the people around you and listening to yourself, you got to throw yourself in that mix. It was fascinating to me when I first started to go, oh, that's an actual thing, like a mindset. Like a lot of people think like that, as opposed to, we kind of go through our lives thinking we just think, and you don't really think about how you think. You think? So I'm just like, I'm super hyper today. I apologize. So, but when I was looking at the two different mindsets, I was kind of laughing at, these websites and teachers and mentors and all these people have put together these lists of, a mindset that works and a mindset that doesn't work. And to me, it's like the whole point of this, right, is to kind of help people get a better mindset moving along. Love it. Really strong interest. You're here all the time. I think it's a little more. You're on it. You're like one of the ones that's on it like all the time. Weldon. Oh, is it hot there? I don't know where that is. I've never heard of it. New Jersey. Right on. I don't know that I knew that. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. So it was funny to me because a lot of them are like, let me be your mentor and I want to be your coach and I'm going to lift you up. And then their list was like successful and unsuccessful. And like one of them was like, well, and then rich and poor, which is always a good one to me, like, because I know many people that are very wealthy and miserable. And I know people that, they don't really care that they have a lot of money and they're super happy. So to define, a mindset being good or bad, because of whether or not you have money, I don't know that that's a good measuring stick. It can be, unless that's important to you, then absolutely it's a measuring stick that you can go by. Whatever. It's totally, again, you're a grown adult. But one of them was like, well, and then you have unsuccessful successful and unsuccessful. And then you had like, loser and winner and that kind of, it was like, goodness gracious. So I think, because as we go through this, I mean, there's things on both sides. I've seen myself have mindsets on both of these. So I'm like, relax. It's like all fine. Like it's good to start listening to yourself. It's good to start listening. So you're in the mountains. So you're that side of it. So Louisiana, awesome, Margaret. That's awesome. I like Louisiana. Cool. Shreveport. I've been to Shreveport. Fascinating. It was a total culture shock. I was pretty young when I went. For a California girl. So I really feel like, we all, we'd like to think that we're always on the benevolent, whatever side, but we all, we're human. So I'm going to kind of go through. And so I called it, you're breaking free. Like you're breaking free. You're having more of what you want, whatever that might be. So, it's success in terms of, and I don't mean, what the scale of figuring out what success is, I think should be very individual. So if success for you is a money thing, then absolutely that should be your stick, but don't judge others if their scale is different than yours. Some people, their idea of success is being, having a big family. Some people, I have a friend that says, I think, therefore I'm single. So everybody's a little different, right? So it's like, this is a total no judgment zone. And we actually did some financial trainings a while back, and, I encourage everyone to share, and I try, and I'm pretty open, but, it is like trying to break free from some of the mindsets that hold you back in however it is that you judge yourself. So we don't judge each other, and we really don't judge ourselves, which is much harder. And any time that someone is judging you in a major way, it's saying so much more about them than it is about you. And my friend that I said that has an amazing mindset, she was like, you got one finger pointed out and the rest pointed at yourself. That's like a funny one that she says all the time. And it's like, if someone's really being judgmental about you, it really does clearly speak more to whatever it is that they're afraid of, whatever insecurities they have, they're latching that onto you. And I really, really believe that, and I see it in action. We see it. I mean, it's been a journey putting stuff out online, as you can imagine. Woo! There's crazy town out there. And Doug's way, well, we help each other in different ways. Are you having a bad day? We have times when we help each other. I'm like, and he's like, no, just don't, we really like help each other. And so, but sometimes it really gets to you, we're trying to put ourselves out. We're super sincere, and we didn't realize like how many people would think that this is a scam. So that was a shocker at first, and now we're used to it, and now we can kind of speak to it a little bit easier, and we don't take it as personally. It depends on how evil they get. But in general, it's, it's whatever it is, what it is. But usually we have discovered that if we just look a little deeper, you can kind of see that the people that are really harsh, super harsh, very harsh, they also are really dissatisfied with their lives. So again, saying more about where they're at than anything we're doing. So we are, hopefully, if you're here today, I think we're pretty dang sincere about what we're doing here. So I'm going to kind of go through these kind of yin and yang thoughts, and I think I would venture to guess that you might have some on both sides. I know I do. Maybe you don't. But I think I can pretty much guarantee you'll think of people that this reminds you of. So it's breaking free is one side, like we're breaking free, and then struggling. So when you're struggling, you tend to think like one way, and when you're kind of breaking free from the things that are holding you back, you're thinking a different way. That's how I'd like to see it. I think we all have all, and to disseminate or put people in buckets like that is not. It's weird. It's not real. So one is having a sense of gratitude or having a sense of entitlement. That's a big one, and I'm sure right away people came to mind. So being able to be grateful about things that are happening, and journaling every day. And one of the exercises we do a lot is to look around every single day and find 3 new things to be grateful for. And it's interesting because right at first it's really easy, but on day whatever, 10, 20, 30, finding a new thing can get challenging. But what happens if you do that, if you journal every day about 3 things that you are grateful about, you start looking for them throughout the day. You're like, okay, oh, there's one, I can write that down. So it really starts to change your mindset. And I have to be, full disclosure, when I first came across this list, I recognized myself on the struggling side almost like a whole, but that was one of them, is not feeling grateful, feeling like, oh, what about things. And so I started doing that. And I also did, I still do the grateful thing, and I still kind of naturally do this now. It's not in the same way, because at the time I had to force myself to do it. And now it's like finding those 3 things that you're grateful for, and then also texting or calling or telling someone something that they did that you're grateful for, that you like about them or whatever. Just texting a quick little message. Amazing how that comes back to you. Amazing. Just always trying to come from a place of support for other people. It's a big one. So people that have a sense of entitlement tend to like go through life very frustrated, right? Because things aren't fair. They come from a place, that's not fair, and I should get that. Why are they getting that? That kind of attitude is just so detrimental. And it can also be, I didn't really come from it like that. I came more from I don't deserve it. Beat yourself up about it. So it can manifest in many different ways. Scroll, breaking free, yay! So do you go by Valerie? Is that right? Or E? I'm like trying to think what E stand for, and I'm coming up with things like exciting, extraordinary. I think you should go with those, even if it's not. So having that, the sense of entitlement can be, can manifest in many ways. So another one is that people compliment others. And so, like I said, I started to like physically make myself look for the good things in other people. And by doing that, it kind of opens up again. You start looking and noticing when people are doing nice things for you. Isn't it amazing? I'm sure you have people in your life and you do nice things for them and they just never seem to get that that's happening to them. And I've seen people where you see all the nice things that are happening to them. And this is something to teach children, because I think it's a natural thing for children not to really see that, but to really point out, when, wow, isn't that nice that this person did that? Like to kind of always, put that in perspective. And so someone who compliments people, and I don't mean like either snarky, sarcastic, or insincere, like to constantly, compliment people for, if you're making stuff up, people know that. And then when you're struggling, you tend to criticize other people. And if you criticize other people, listen to yourself, because typically whatever you're criticizing them for is a part of you that you don't like. Sorry, but that's usually the case. And I also think it's really interesting. Sometimes I'll be out in public. I try not to do this too much because I don't want to be the crazy old lady that's like, oh, honey, I don't want to be that guy. But if I see like someone who has a cute hat or dress or whatever, I try to comment on it, and say, what a cute dress, and then move on. Like, I don't want to be too, yay. I love that. Valerie, good to see you. Awesome. Great idea, E. Oh, I've started something. That's awesome. I think I actually have my own 12-step program that I put in a journal, and that's one of them. Is maybe I'll share that at some point. But the first one is finding 3 new things, and the second one is texting or saying to someone something that I'm grateful about them, or just supporting someone in some way, finding a way to do that. And then people that forgive others pretty easily, and people that hold a grudge. So those are kind of the 2 differences. And people that hold it, sometimes it can be really hard not to hold a grudge. I really get that. But trying to find a place of forgiveness is so important. And I'm totally going to butcher this, the saying that forgiveness is the fragrance that comes out of a crushed flower, right? It's like it's such a beautiful way to put it. And then accept responsibility for your own, whatever you want to call it, mistakes, failures, stumbling. Accept your responsibility when you screw up, really own it, and don't blame others like I did earlier when I said it was Shree's fault. So yeah, I blame Doug for stuff all the time. But it is like, yeah, I kind of do it with love. It's a little bit different. So, but it is like, really, when you mess up, whatever. Oh, I love that. That's cool. You're old enough to get with chat with strangers. Yeah, you are. Yep. Yeah, that's a really good point. It might be the only time someone hears something good from them the whole day. And you never know what's going on in their head. It might be the thing that makes them shift, and it might be, I don't know, it's just really, it can be a really cool experience. So really, when you mess up, and especially if you're in a job or when you're reading and you kind of, you get something wrong or whatever, like it's important to be like, you know what, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, no, I'm, let's move a different direction. Like really, yeah, kindergarten rules apply. That's like, be nice. How hard is it? And it is kind of funny to me sometimes how mean people can be. And I serve on also a lot of not charitable organizations, which is really funny, right? I could go on for a long time about this, but I'm on a lot of boards and committees, and actually had a meeting last night where we were kind of hashing out something we want to do, and people are getting really heated and upset. And it was like, look, we all want the same thing here. We all want this to work. We're all trying to just help the community. So how we do it is like, that's all we need to work out. We don't need to get upset. And one person was mocking people. And I was like, why do you have to go like, like, what was that about? So it's fascinating, right? So being able to just kind of get along in that regard and kind of accept responsibility and listen. I've been through many, many listen first trainings where you're trying to hear what someone says and come back. And if you're going to be a good writer, listening is key. Actors too. Acting is listening. Acting is reacting. And then also being patient and being impatient are sometimes patience can be really, really difficult, but it can also pay off in a huge way. That's one that I definitely struggle with. As you can see, I get a little bit excited, and I get excited, and I think and so like in the meeting last night, I know I get excited, and I start like, and then we should do this, and then I have another friend who's in that, who's even more, if you can imagine, she's even more like, she scares me with some of her big ideas. Like I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I'll be right there with her, but she comes up with ideas that just make my head spin. And so for people that aren't used to that kind of, ideas and that kind of it scares them. And I get it. And I need that balance. I need someone like Doug to go like, settle, and let's think about this for a moment. I mean, he doesn't hold me back in any way, shape, or form. He pushes me forward, and he's the greatest partner ever. And then also tempers me with maybe think this or that. That kind of helps guide me in my, I'm totally I'm always off the charts on all the idea stuff. Like that's always forward thinking, and always happened. My father's the same way. But really like learning patience and learning to pull that back. And then the next one is give others credit or take the credit. How many people do you know that get very involved in making sure they get credit for things? Really interesting, right? I think that's really fascinating. What else? You're getting it. And we're also going to have it in a handout too. It's why we have two. That's a good one. Why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Shoot, I need that one for my son. My mom used to say, look with your eyes, not with your mouth. That was always when you're like, where's my... She was a preschool teacher, so there you go. You don't need to take credit for everything. Like people can, it doesn't have to be, I thought of that. That's my idea. Okay. It's hard because Doug and I have been partners for a while, and I have a lot of inside jokes. And then also people that examine their lives and people that don't. I mean, like don't at all and don't have any idea or want to. Like people that just like, and I think in some ways I sort of envy people and sometimes that have no desire to do that. And one of the lists that I had said people that journal and people who say they journal, which I thought was a really funny way to put that out there. But it's basically, I do think that we live more fulfilling lives if we do self-reflection. I do, because I think it helps you grow, and growing is the key. Like growing, making impact, service, those are the keys to, I think, having a fulfilled life, in my opinion. Definitely it is for me. And then people who read as opposed to people who watch TV. That was a big one. But there's a caveat there. And actually, I've seen posts that say, don't have time to write your screenplay. What happened on Game of Thrones this week? And I think I get that. Like, if you're spending all of your time watching, television, however, in our field, we need to watch and be aware of things that are going on. Now, I tend to work a lot of the times with movies on, especially if I've seen them before, because I'm constantly going, where's the inciting incident? Like I'm always like looking at the structure of them and stuff. And so I often, if I'm under a deadline though, everything has to come off. But in general, I kind of like having that thing. I don't really believe in multitasking. It can definitely slow me down. But it also can, if I'm doing things like I create all the graphics for what we're doing. So if I'm creating graphics, that doesn't take a lot of like focus and brain power, then I'll have a movie on while I'm doing that. And I'm a little bit split. It's definitely slower when I do it that way, but it's more fun. And Scruffles likes it. So it's, so in our business, watching television has a little bit of a different spin on it, I think, than what they're referring to in this kind of idea. And I'm also a just ferocious reader, always have been. And now with audiobooks, I mean, Poor Doug. I'm always like, have you heard this one? How about this one? He's like, but he does it too. He always is recommending books. I mean, I'm a ferocious reader and listener to just anything. So people that talk about ideas as opposed to people that talk about people. And that's a really interesting one. Gossiping is tough, and it's so tempting, right? And it's so human. It's such human nature. And sometimes I think when you're talking about people, you really are trying to figure out yourself and figure out how to deal with things, and you kind of working through things. That's a little bit different than just randomly talking crap about people. I think that's kind of what they're referring to. And you see it all the time, especially if you have a workforce that has a lot of people around. And the old thing, if they're talking to you about that person, they're talking to that person about you. Just keep that in mind. Wacky's good. That's okay. It'll be on the replay. Anything you get, you can just hang in there. The difference of people that talk about ideas and people that talk about people. It's such a waste of time to talk about people, unless there's something behind it where you're, either moving forward yourself or moving someone else forward. People that share information and data, and people that hoard information and data. That's one of my favorites, actually, and in part because there's so many people that are like, it's my screenplay, you can't read it, you're gonna steal it. It's a big one. Never once, never, ever, ever, never, not once, never, ever, never, once, never. Wow. Well, hi, Larry. I didn't even know you were here. I didn't see you come in. Where are you from? Hollywood? That's a guess. I don't know where I thought that. I think you may have told me actually already. I'm sorry. Short-term memory. But yes, I've never, ever, once, never, never, not once, ever have seen anybody try to steal anyone's screenplay. Moving on. Embracing change and authority, or opportunity. Big difference. Embracing change and opportunity, and fearing change. So being able to see change as an opportunity, and being able to see failure as an opportunity. I really don't think, failure. Someone just posted in one of the screen reading groups or somewhere today that they were all bummed out because their screenplay didn't do well, and then the only failure is the only failure is stopping. Really, that's the only, when you quit writing, then that's failure. You just keep writing. When in doubt, write. So definitely, seeing change as an opportunity. I actually really thrive on change, but that's not been one that I've had. As a matter of fact, I have to make sure that I stay stable and don't, my father was very much super artistic and really went with trends. And so I kind of grew up in that world, which makes it easy for me to do that. But on the other hand, I've really worked on making sure that I have this stable, studied business a lot so I could be grounded as well. So, and then just your basic exuding joy as opposed to anger and judgment, like really trying. I know sometimes it can be so hard to come from a mindset of, seeing everything from a place of joy. And that's not always easy, especially, we have tragedies, we have things that happen to us. And I actually have friends who lost their children in the Newtown shootings, and they have been such an inspiration because they've actually had another child since then, and they've just been, talk about tragedy, right? And they've been such an inspiration in how they've dealt with that. I can't even fathom. And it's been an honor to be their friend and try to, do a little tiny ray of sunshine as much as we possibly can in the group of friends that are surrounding them. So stuff happens, and try from your utmost to come from a place. I mean, she said pretty much right away, it's a couple months later, she said, I always knew my boy would do great things, gonna make him cry, but I thought he would be here to do them. And since then she's run marathons and started nonprofits, and there's been so much that has happened because of that. So she's right, there are many beautiful things. Of course, we'd rather have him here. So she's been a real inspiration with that, right? So, I mean, there's tragedy, things happen, it can be hard, but trying your very best to always come from that place. And, meditation is a great way to do that, to just take a minute, even if you're just, there's so many great, yoga with Adrienne, she's really awesome, by the way, just a little plug there, I don't get anything for that, but she's just sweet, she has her dog with her all the time, and I just love her approach to it all. But coming from a place, if you sit down and quiet your mind and quiet your breath and then kind of feel where tension is in your body, sometimes you can feel tension. If you have tension in your chest or, certain areas of your body, and you just say to yourself in that quiet moment, what does this mean? It's kind of amazing what answers will come to you. And so these are ways, I know this kind of seems way out there from screenwriting, right? But these, especially if you want to be a writer, being in touch with these voices, right? Like when you're developing characters, which mindset are they? You'll have this list now. Develop your character and refer to this list of, I want this character to have this mindset as opposed to this mindset. How much easier is it going to be for you to write dialogue when you're writing it from a character, you know, a list like this? Just saying. Kind of, let me make sure. Yes. You guys are so awesome. I'm really glad you think that, Valerie. Yay! I want to exude joy. Yeah, we're getting to that, Margaret. Absolutely. It's who you surround yourself with, for sure. How we handle it, you know, yeah. The only thing you can control, right, is your reaction to things. That's the only thing you can control is how you react to stuff. I mean, you can think you're controlling things and you do your best to make things go a certain way, but when things happen that you know, the only thing we really have is how we respond. So focusing on transformation as opposed to transactions. And this is also a really good one for basically being self-employed. So we are used to living, most of us, in a transactional society. I give you time, you give me money. I give you an hour, you pay me for that hour. I read a screenplay, you pay me this much money. But if we back up from that and have more of a transformational mindset, so take the trainings, little plug, because in the trainings we take you through your very own success path where you can figure out where you're headed with all of this. So if you have, rather than thinking how many scripts can I read, what kind of thing, you know, being very transactional about it, if you can kind of back up and look at a bigger view of where you want to go with it all, like what is your ultimate goal, where do you want to be, no matter how pie in the sky it might seem, then we can come back and you can work towards that and be a total transformation. And we're seeing that happen. So it's really exciting. So it can go like that as opposed to just being like, give me that for that. I want that for that. And it can be a really, you'll hear this now. That's a big one too, where you hear people like really, it kind of goes back and forth with gratitude and entitlement, a little bit of like, I did that, I deserve this. I deserve that, you know, as opposed to it just having a sense of ease to it. I like this one too. Consciously wanting to learn, being open to learning, and then thinking you know it all. I've been on both sides where I go, I got this. I know what I'm talking about. I'm no dummy. Being stupid it used to be a huge button for me. I'm not stupid. That's a big one that I would say a lot. What, do you think I'm an idiot? No, I never say that. Moving on. So, hi, Jenny. Good to see you. Yay. So, Doug. Oh, Doug. Yes, the only thing you don't live through is death. I thought it was death and taxes. No, that's the only thing you can count on. Sorry. And then uplifting others or tearing others down. The whole tearing others down, that was happening in our meeting last night for no good reason. Like, what the heck? Like, if you disagree with someone, whatever, you don't need to tear them down. If you're tearing someone down because you disagree with them, then I think that you're not very solid in your own position. That's kind of how I feel, is that if someone starts really, if you start feeling like, I gotta prove that, you know, I'm right. I have a screenplay actually where the character's like, he needs to relax. If I could just beat that into him. I love that, right? It's awesome. So again, this list is awesome for building characters, right? And then one of the last one we're going to kind of go with is that people that focus on the future, right? That are forward thinking, that I feel like, you know, there's beauty moving forward, that have kind of a trust that it's all like, it all sounds like you. All of it, both sides, I'm everything. Well, I think actually there's some truth to that, Cindy. It has. We've missed you too, Jenny. I think we do have all of them at different times. I think you'll start to see, you know, you'll start to see, let's put that anywhere. You'll start to see people that generally live in one place or the other, that generally come from a place of lack or a place of abundance. You'll kind of see that in general. But really, I don't really care if you see it in other people. I care about that you see it in yourself. Only for not to judge yourself ever or beat yourself up ever, but that you can start to feel like, oh, maybe if I approach it like this, it will be easier for me. It'll bring more ease to your life, which is really important, especially if you want to do this work where you're dealing with really big personalities, you're dealing with really big egos, and if you can stay grounded in some of the more positive mindsets, then you'll be able to, you know, you'll be able to take the know-it-alls and the people that try to tear you down, and the trolls, as we call them, you know, you'll be able to kind of feel that a little better. Of course, we all have moments where you just can't deal. Like, definitely there are those moments, but also knowing, you know, what are the things that help get you back? You know, what are the things that help you go, do I need to put music on and just dance like, you know, no one's watching or whatever? Do you need to go swim, or what is the thing, go play sports or go out in nature? What are the things, sleep, taking a nap sometimes can be a really good reset. Like, what are the things that can kind of get you reset? And if you are reading and you're doing all these projects, it's so creative, it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot, you're not just dealing, when you're writing a screenplay, you're not just dealing with words and editing and grammar, you're dealing with emotion and honesty and, you know, rawness. It's like there's so much to writing that people, I think, don't really appreciate. It is so true. And I think, Margaret, I'm seeing that, yeah, it's definitely true with people and talents, where it's so much, it's so much easier to, I mean, so much tougher. Building up is much tougher than tearing down, is what she said. So it can be. It can, and there is a general, you see this a lot, where people come behind a star and they're like, oh, Justin Bieber's the best thing because he's so amazingly talented, and he is amazingly talented. So it's like, and the poor kid, like, he was so young when he became so famous, right? So he's a really good example, actually, because he's incredibly talented. So everybody go, oh, check out this kid, and then it was just like, no, he's too successful and he's an idiot, and the poor kid is I mean, he's going through, he had to, you know, grow up in front of people. And I'll never forget taking my son and his friends to the concert about Justin Bieber getting famous. And at this point, he was a teenager, like an early teenager, 13, 14. He's singing on stage with women in their 30s crying. And I'm like, ew, first of all. And then, because I have a young boy who's a singer, and it's just like, I mean, he was singing at a concert once when he was like 8, and there were these teenage girls behind me going, oh, he's so cute. And I turned around and went, he's 8. Totally just like that. Oh, everybody around me was like, calm down. So anyways, I think, oh my God. He would love that I'm telling that story. That was one of not my better moments. They were like, so classic, right? But this poor kid had to like go through his adolescence, and people tore this kid down, you know, and he like got in trouble for vandalizing or whatever, because he's throwing eggs at the neighbor's house because he's 14. But his neighbor, you know, it's like he's throwing an egg at a house that's going to cost $500,000 to repair. It's, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going off a whole tangent. I don't. Whoa there. I told you, Doug keeps me down. But anywho, so it is like finding that balance and being able to, you know, lift people up and not tear them down, and really come from a place of looking ahead and come from a place as positive as you can. This classic is totally making me hot. But anywho, so that's kind of the list. We will put the link. You can go ahead and put the link to it, Doug, if you want. We'll put the link in here so you can kind of download that list. But also, definitely use that list when you're creating characters, right? Like, how perfect is that? And one of the main things, you guys are making me laugh. Oh, you did? He was on your flight. So was it totally crazy? I know that Owen Wilson was on the flight and like totally shut down the airport. Okay. Anywho, so yeah, definitely use that list. And you know, one of the things that we also like, kind of a general thing for characters, is what does the front of their t-shirt say? That's really like defines a character for me. But anywho, and I do that with people too. my brothers, that never occurred to me. Anyway, so definitely, you know, we really want you to get to a place to where you can lean on the side of positive with this list, and you can hear yourself when you're going down a path, and it will help you kind of move to the other side. And then also that will help you find the success that you want in the area from your wheel that's off balance, right? So I think that's it for today before I embarrass myself any further. Super excited to have you here. And then we will be actually, so we have so much going on. I'm totally sweating. You totally see it in the video. I just got a glimpse of myself. You know, it is really humbling to do these. I can totally see it. Okay. I developed really bad habits being a can-can dancer at Knott's Berry Farm and doing 6 shows a day. Really bad, because we would try to make each other laugh all the time, and now I'm really terrible when I get off. I get really off and I can't get it back. Anyway. Oh, that's cool, Cindy. So we have a lot going on. So like we said, we have the free trainings going on. Doug already posted the link for that. We definitely have the masterclass that's happening. You can register on the Hollywood Gatekeepers page. So just go to the Hollywood, the link is on the page. We'll be posting it in the group. You'll have plenty of opportunities, really. And in the masterclass, we do a whole PowerPoint. We stay as long as it takes to answer all of your questions. And then enrollment for the Screen Readers course opens for the last time this year on Saturday. Open from Saturday to Sunday. So we really invite you to kind of learn more about what the screen reader course is if you want to be part of that. If you don't, that's totally fine. We'll be in here every week as well. So totally up to you, whatever works for you best in your whole life picture. And we'll continue to embarrass ourselves on a weekly basis. Well, Doug won't, but I will. Definitely. So I hope that gives you the information. If you have any questions about it, we're around. Just post it in the Facebook group, and we'll answer them there, or come into the trainings. We have a little place you can post there, and then awesome. So download that handout and start your list. All right, guys. Thanks for being so patient with my wackiness, and we will see you next week. Well, actually, we'll see you tomorrow. That's right. That's why I started that whole spiel. So we're going to be also doing Facebook Lives every day. Yay! That's for you. Going, oh, great. She's back again. So we're going to do them at noon every weekday for the rest of this week. So we'll be back tomorrow on Friday, and then we'll be back again next week, Monday through Friday. Because we're opening enrollment, we want to make sure that we answer your questions about enrollment. So we'll be open all next week. We'll be doing Facebook Lives all next week to kind of answer any questions that you have. Cool? Makes sense? Oh, new comments. Scroll, Carolyn. Yay, thanks, you guys. You guys are awesome. So, oh, good. I'm glad you like the topic. Awesome. Have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow at noon. We're happy you could stop by too. We'll see you in Screen Reader. Okay, bye, guys.